Hey everybody, it's your girl Bondy Blue, and I am back for another This Is Us review. Yes! Okay, so the last This Is Us review actually got 2,000 views, which is so good for this show on my channel. Okay, so I appreciate everybody who's been watching. Share, share, share. I appreciate you. Hashtag This Is Us. Hashtag This Is Us NBC. All of that. Okay, I appreciate y'all so much. Let's go ahead and get into the notes because today is my husband's birthday and I have things to do. Okay. So Rebecca and Jack want to take the kids to the park. This episode, well, like not the park, the pool, sorry. So this episode is about your kids growing up and realizing they're not the little boogers you once thought they were. Okay? And it translates throughout the generations. Because y'all know we're starting off with Rebecca and Jack. So obviously that's back in the gap in 80s. Okay? Early 90s maybe. And then we're going to transition into Kate and Toby in their situation and Kevin in his situation. And then Randall and Beth and the kids. Where this really translates. Okay? So, like I said, they want to take the kids to the pool. They're about to go back to school. It's like a little last family date or whatever. But the kids are not happy. They used to be excited to go to the pool. Well, now they're not excited to go to the pool anymore, okay? They want to, stay home and watch marathons or, go and hang out with their friends. They're getting into the prepubescent, annoying teenage years, okay? So they still end up going to the pool, whether the kids wanted to do it or not. Kevin doesn't want Rebecca rubbing the suntan lotion on him anymore. Like, it's just all these little bitty things that you just start to notice. Kate is running off with two, obviously, little stuck-up girls who had never spoken to her before. And, Rebecca is paying attention. Y'all, this rang so true. Well, I can remember when my mom didn't like certain girls. She wouldn't say anything. She would let it play out. But at the end of it, she would be like, I ain't never liked that girl. Okay, my mom was like, okay, so on this, we're paying attention to when your kids are starting to pick up flaw friends, okay? So Randall goes off because his black friends have shown up to the pool, but Kevin comes with. And Kevin has been listening to All I Want to Do Is Zoom, 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 and your boom, boom. So early 90s, shake your rump. All I want to do is zoom, zoom, and your boom, boom. Shake your rump. Okay, I'm sorry. So he, check, baby, 1, 2, 3. I don't know all of the words to this one, okay? So I'm like Randall in this situation. I wouldn't have been able to follow along. But they go and they're listening to this song and Kevin is like reciting it to a T. Y'all know, like, Kevin is an actor. Kevin is an entertainer, okay? So it doesn't matter where he is. He's going to find a way, y'all. It's this one. I folded it before I put it on, and this one is just driving me insane. But this shirt is so long. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm just not going to worry about it. We're not going to worry about it. So like I was saying, Kevin is an entertainer. Okay. So whenever he's in a room, he's going to find out a way to entertain in that room, which makes Randall look like what his friends called an Oreo. Okay. He doesn't know the words to the zoom, zoom, zoom and your boom, boom song. Okay. So he must be an Oreo. Randall's an Oreo. I went through this as well with my cousins though. Like, I know it's sad and people don't want to hear it, but I actually remember changing how I spoke because I was tired of being picked on about talking white, as they would say to me. Okay. So, I mean, of course, now we're all grown and all of that, but and that's something that they would not say to me now because we're adults. But when we were kids, this is how it was. You know what I'm saying? So I remember changing how I spoke to people and not being so correct in my English in order to be acceptable around my cousins. Like I totally remember the moment where that had switched, and then I started to notice that my parents would start to correct me, and I was like y'all act like I don't know how to I don't know how to talk. But then I had started to do that at home and started to do that at school. So then it seemed as if I didn't know how to speak correct English. That's why I go in and out of dialects so much, okay? Because I had the duality of being a black person, okay? Like it's just the reality of the situation. But it's something that Randall is starting to realize there's a duality that takes place with us in different environments. And Kevin, always being a brother that has to make him feel like crap about himself, is the perfect example of how, even though, for black people, there's this duality, Kevin just does it so easily, just blends in without a problem. And, they've had issues for years because of Kevin and Randall's relationship. You just wish one time one time that Kevin would have been, like, of course, as adults, but as kids, every time we go back to when they were kids, Kevin is doing something terrible to Randall, okay? Like, it's always what it is. Rebecca is kind of snooping on Kate, and the friends see her behind some plants. And she's like, Mom, what are you doing? And like, you're embarrassing me. She's like, you don't want to come back, Bug, and sit by the pool with me and your dad play Marco Polo? You don't want to come back by us because these friends look flawed? She didn't say that, but she was like, have these girls ever talked to you before? And she was like, go, Mom, go. Okay, so now Rebecca done got her cue. She gonna go over back by Jack. Okay, Jack done got 5 seats. Okay, this is a special thing. This never happens at the pool. And y'all done got up and walked away. So Rebecca's feelings were exactly right. They tricked Kate. They had Kate thinking that she was about to go kiss this cute popular boy named Cliff. Okay, but really it ended up being another little shy guy with pimples all over his face. And when he showed up, there's this look on her face, like, and then you can hear the girls giggling in the background. And he's like, so who did you think it was gonna be? And she was like, I thought it was gonna be Cliff. And she asked him the same question, and he's like, I thought it would be you. And the girls are still giggling. Okay, but in that moment, I guess the fact that somebody wanted to see her, somebody was there to kiss her, it made her realize that she needed to, get this little boy a kiss because, sometimes it's good to love the person that loves you, so to speak, okay? So she kissed him, and I thought it was like such a great moment. I was like, Kate, that's why I messed with you, girl. Like, I would have done the same thing, pimples and all, whatever. Like, how old are y'all, 13? They're supposed to have pimples. It's when you get to my age, it ain't cool no more, like, Lord. So then after the kids have all had a terrible time with their friends, they come back to old mom and dad, and then they sit there all upset while Jack and Rebecca think about all of the times before when they went to the beach or the pool, and it always ended in their kids just being happy to be together and be with them. And this is no longer the case. They're growing up. Kevin calls Nikki because he has not talked to Nikki since he bailed him out of jail. He's trying to understand what happened, okay? Kevin is actually on the set of a movie, and we're seeing him also on the movie set, but then also in group therapy, talking about how he got a ficus. And it's like the only thing that he has in his life right now that he can actually control. And then we see him go on to the set, y'all. He goes on to the set, and the director tells him, apparently the director from The Sixth Sense, I didn't catch his name and I forgot to Google it. But anyway, what I'm saying, it's of no importance in this moment. But we do love The Sixth Sense. So anyway, the director tells him, let the character not be okay. Something just, terrible just happened. He's a police officer. Let whatever happened affect him. So Kevin walks back to the car, and then he puts his arms on the door of the car right before he gets in to like take this moment. And then you see this one tear come down his face, and the director yells, cut. And then he snaps out of it. And I was like, sorry for the loud clap. But if y'all understood how horrid it is to push that emotion up so quickly. Like, I can do it. I've done it before. Y'all don't know how much my actual acting technique goes into these videos. But I've done it before where I was reenacting a scene with somebody cry, and and I can like bring it up. My eyes will get glossy and I'll start to tear. It just takes a little longer. But the way Kevin went in there and did, I was like, oh my God. So he goes over to the director, and the director is like, Kevin, when you really strip away all of the things that you use to make yourself seem handsome and, this good guy, you are absolutely incredible. And I said, what kind of backhanded compliment is that? Like, oh, as soon as you stop being fake, boy, you was a good one. I'm like, what I'm saying? But we gonna take the compliment because it was from the director. And at the end of the day, Kevin did an excellent job. Excellent. I was just like, oh, your girl has an appreciation for a good actor. I also have a good appreciation for method actors and character actors, like people who actually take on the embodiment of something, like Merch. I don't know why I can't think of Merch's name right now from The Best Man. If you see him in The Best Man, see him in not The Blacklist. No. Criminal Minds, okay, because there was like a season when he was in Criminal Minds and he was in jail. That personality, and then the personality he plays as Dean on Claws, like such a great actor. I'm sorry, he was the first person I could think about, but there are so many others. Jeffrey Wright, there's so many others, but I'm just saying I have an appreciation for the good actor, the good actress, and also directors that can get that up out of you. So. And then we go back to Kevin in group therapy. He also feels over his head because he's been there for every doctor's appointment with Kate and Toby for the baby, and they just found out that the baby's blind. And he feels like he's so in over his head, doesn't know what to say, he doesn't know what to do. But he knows he wants to be there for Kate. Y'all, let's hop over to Randall. So Randall is doing good with city council. He's getting things done at the community center. They're about to like put some new double pane windows in, and he's comparing Beth's sexiness to those double pane windows. Randall can be so lame sometimes, okay? But Lord, it's a lame outtake. It's a lame outtake. Okay, look. Y'all can say what y'all want to, but the dudes with lame jokes sometimes, boy, especially when they're not offensive. Whew. So Beth is in the process of building her dance school, y'all. Yes, just getting into the essence of it all. Getting into the Debbie Allen, because that's what she gave. Okay, when we saw her in the future, that is definitely what she gave. Randall wants to have a family fun day, okay? Just like his dad did back in the day, wants to have a family fun day. They just moved to Philly. They're in this brand new house. Let's see how we feeling about this. Beth says them girls are getting mean about a day. Everybody, is getting older and getting into high school age, just like we saw with Jack and Rebecca and the kids. So like they're getting into this teenage annoying stage, this mean girl stage. My God, Tess comes downstairs with the biggest attitude ever. Deja and Randall are supposed to ride the bus because Deja wants to ride the bus again. It reminds her of who she is and where she came from, okay? And Randall is just worried about her safety. And the thing that really irks me about this is like the fact that she wants to hold on to that because that makes her feel like it'll remind her of who she was. But at the end of the day, where you come from will remind you of where you come from. Not riding the bus when your people have the means to get you, a ride there. And I get it because I wanted to ride the bus too when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, I wanted to ride the bus because I wanted to be like all the rest of the kids and meet up after school outside on Canal Street in front of Popeyes and then walk all the way down to the Wendy's and then come back down and finally catch my bus to either go to the east or to go on Broad where my mama was. So like I get it, but I feel like the reason why she wants it, you know what I mean? I just kind of felt like, really, is that what we gonna assign to the memory, the bus ride? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let's hold on to poverty, Jesus. Not to say that there's anything, obviously I'm not saying there's anything wrong, with catching a bus, but I do understand now as a 30-something-year-old person that wants to have children, how having your kids out there in this world like that is so scary because you never know what can happen to them. And it doesn't even matter that Deja didn't been through hell and back with her, biological mama. That does not matter. What matters is, Randall is city council and you riding the bus. And at any moment, what if somebody wanted to get back at him for something if they don't like him for whatever reason? People are crazy, okay? And we're going to get to that in a moment, the reason why I totally understood where Randall was coming from. So Kate talks to Toby about learning how to take care of a blind kid. All right, because y'all know we didn't find out that the baby's blind. And now they have to go through the process of learning what to do in the home and how to get him accustomed to moving around. And, not having a crutch. Not always having everybody do something for him just because he's blind. And Kate is unfazed. Kate is going through this like, yes, like ever since she heard it, there was not a moment where it's kind of settled in a negative way. She just hit the ground running, and Toby just wants to check in and make sure she's okay. She says she's fine, but as she's walking away, he notices that she picks up another treat. So she is overeating at this point. He's gonna worry about that. That's how she handles stress. Rebecca, Miguel, and Kevin go to Toby and Kate's because the lady is coming over. The lady who's going to teach them everything, that they need to know, give them the tips about what to do around the house, making sure the layout remains the same, not having things hanging down so the baby won't pull anything down on themselves, speaking to the baby before you pick them up or touch them so that they will know they're about to be touched. You basically have to announce everything you're doing so that they will be aware, because whenever Kevin would try to pick the baby up, the baby would cry. And later on, we'll talk about it, but Kate explains that it's because he doesn't know he's about to be picked up. He can't see you. And the things that you would normally do with your face, you're now going to have to do with your touch and with your voice. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, you just never know the things that people have to learn and go through when they're in these situations. You just know you see people out here doing it all the time. And I just was like, wow, like it was just fascinating to me, honestly. It was fascinating the way they were explaining things, and it just, it made me feel good that we saw how he's going to turn out totally independent. He didn't have many, people around him. So I was wondering, like, is everybody dead at this point? Like, does Jack have no one? We don't know. They showed the life in parts, so we don't know. But he was very independent. And so we see now that whatever Kate had put into her mind and into that child at the beginning, she was serious. It was serious. So there's a moment when Kate and the lady's telling him everything, and Kate is trying to process it, and she kind of zones out. And you see that now is the moment where she's about to like really have to, deal with the emotion. It just kind of all comes flooding in. While that's happening, Rebecca and Toby have a conversation, and she notices, y'all, Toby been losing weight. Okay, we like, what is going on, Toby? And Toby tries to act like it's stress. He's stressing out, so he's losing weight. He says, my wife is just so amazing. She hasn't missed a beat since we found out the baby was blind, So he's confiding in Rebecca about how great Kate has been, but also how worried he is. She is at the top of the list of worry for him. And Rebecca says, child, I know she is for me too. And when they rejoin, that's when Kate kind of has her little breakdown and rushes into her bedroom. Kevin has a gig in Chicago. I think it's a movie, but he doesn't know if he wants to go because he wants to be there for little Jack and Kate and Toby. So he's in the baby's room, and like I said, every time he tries to pick the baby up, the baby is fussy, so he puts the baby back down. And he talks to him about how, this decision he has to make. And he's been sober since Jack was born. And then we go back to Kevin at that pool. Okay, in that same scene with Rebecca and the kids and everything and Jack. And he goes to his dad after, Randall went off on him for making him look like a fool in front of his friends. And he asks his dad, do you think I'm a bad person? And Jack explains how the men in their family, the Pearson men, have always had issues. But the fact that he's asking that question so early on means that he's going down the right path. Meaning, yes, innately, somebody has given you some jealous, self-absorbed tendencies. But the fact that you care enough to ask, it shows that you want to self-correct. And I think that even though it took a while, Kevin is in a place now where he's about to self-correct, I think, for good. And I think that's awesome because he's about to be 40 years old. So you need to hurry up and figure it out. We all know that the girl from Once Upon a Time and Kevin about to be together. I can already see that. So Kate comes into the room with Kevin and the baby. And she explains to him how he has to announce himself before he touches the baby. And he finally gets to hold the baby and the baby's laughing. And it felt in that moment like he didn't want to leave the baby. He didn't want to leave her. And he told her he might pass on the Chicago gig. And she was like, you better not pass on that gig. She was like, you are going to be Jack's uncle his entire life. Go to Chicago, live your life, work on your sobriety. You know what I'm saying? Stay focused. And come back when you can. He will be here. Okay? So, that was all the kick in the pants that he needed. But I thought it was so fascinating when Kate told him, I wish that you showed yourself the same compassion that you show me. And I think it's because he is so hard on himself that he really should start showing himself a little bit more love. So they go out and Kate tells them, this is how it's going to go. Okay? My son will not lack anything because he's blind. He will get out and have the world at his fingertips. We may not be able to give him his sight, but we will give him his freedom. Okay, sorry, black people. Okay, but yeah, that's what she meant. Like, we're going to make sure that he has no limits, and him being blind does not stop him from living his life and doing whatever he wants to do in his life. And we saw. Beth takes Tess to the hairdresser, y'all. Because just like Randall and Deja wanted to go on the bus ride, Beth and Tessa needed to go to the hairdresser. Apparently all summer, Tess has been tasked to think about what she wants to do with her hair. Now, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. At first, I thought she was gonna get a perm and I was gonna be upset. because they didn't tell us what the hairstyle was gonna be. But all we know is Beth told her to think about it, and she thought about it all summer. Randall at the same time is on the bus with Deja, and Deja is like, why don't you sit away from me so you can see how I will be on the bus by myself. So Randall sits a few seats behind her and sees this kind of crazy guy come in and sit next to her and start talking to her and just kind of running her, I think phones are her, just doing the most and constantly leaning over. And Randall couldn't take it anymore. Randall comes over and asks if he can sit next to his daughter. And he was like, you're not riding the bus, Deja. Look at this. You're not riding the bus. And she says, I can handle myself, Randall. I can handle myself. And he's like, as your father, it is my job to protect you. Deja said, I know all that. I got that. But what I'm saying is I've already been riding a bus forever. So I understand. I so get it. But when I seen that, I'm like, girl, you think that you can handle yourself, but you know how crazy people are. What if he would have pulled out a knife and stabbed you? People do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially on public transportation. You never know what can happen. Crazy people get on the bus all the time with foolishness. And you being stoic and ignoring them isn't always going to help you. So in that moment, I'm like already thinking, what if he would have stabbed you? Okay, what if somebody grabs you on your way home? You know what I'm saying? I would just like to decrease the time in which somebody can snatch you. Okay, I think that, and force you into sex slavery or something. I think that is what the parent's mind thinks. Let's lessen, people's access to you in case somebody wants to hurt you. Just lessen that. That's all. Take the car. Okay, now y'all, I did that bus thing. Until Katrina happened, the martyr, because, we would go, not the martyr, that's Atlanta. But I'm saying I had to do it in Atlanta too. But I couldn't do public transportation for too much longer. I need a core. But this is also New Orleans, where the buses take an hour to come in between. It's not like in New York. Now, if I was in New York, I get it. Them buses come every 7 minutes. That ain't nothing. Okay, but here, public transportation ain't the way. It ain't the way, Sway. So after Randall and Deja get off the bus, they go and meet Beth and Tess and Ann. And Beth is sitting outside, and Deja just walks right past her. She's mad. She can't ride the bus. Goes inside the hair salon with the other two kids. And they just kind of talk. And Beth is like, I feel like if she cuts her hair, it's a rejection of me. She's not going to look like me anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's her realizing that when the kids start to grow up, they're no longer directly little reflections of you. They're growing into who they are. And it can be tough for a parent, especially when you have girls, because there's all these mood swings. Yeah, like my mom is my main Mabel Scrabble, but there were a couple of years right up in them teenage years where we were not getting along. And it was a lot of arguing and a lot of fussing. And we eventually, that tapered off and we got into a better place. Of course, after Katrina, there wasn't really much arguing we was going to do. I was depressed, this great change in our lives. Anything else kind of ceased. But I still have to say that before, my mom is my person. And then, of course, my husband's my person now. But still, my mom is my close second. Even though, you're going through this time right now, eventually they will grow out of that. And your relationships will be based off of friendship and not just off of the fact that you're their mom. And that's a good place to be, especially when you've raised good kids. Randall says he remembers being their age and he thinks back to the pool and getting even with Kevin by pulling his tape apart and ruining it so he couldn't listen to Zoom Zoom and a Boom Boom no more. Okay? And Tess comes out and Beth tells her, puts on her mom face that she has never looked this beautiful. And it's this cute little shortcut, tapered cut with the curls and everything. I was like, yes, she didn't perm it. That was don't perm it. That was my main thing, okay? So once I saw it, I was like, that is her. And even though Beth may not feel that way, you're feeling the angst of them growing up, that cut was her, okay? I was like, yes. So because everybody, is kind of aggravated, they play worst case scenario at the bottom of the steps in Philly where Rocky ran up. I don't know what the place is. I've never been to Philly, unfortunately. I really want to go though. But either way, so they're standing down there and they're doing the worst case scenario, and Randall lets Deja take the bus. Okay, he says that it's a probationary period. She gonna take the bus. All right. But then when she does take the bus, we do see him still a few seats behind, making sure she getting what she's supposed to get. But he tells her she has to text him every day when she gets to school. Beth admits that she projects her own crap onto her girls, and she's checking herself. And I said, girl, that's the first step. Tess says that Philly looks good on her. She ain't tripping. I say, yeah. And then Ann says that, well, you know, I'm scared all my old friends will forget about me. And they were like, really, honey? We didn't know you felt that way. She was like, I'm just playing. I'm good. I'm good. I was like, I love how Ann is just so laid back, but that's also because she's the youngest. Just give it a while. But she still might be that, because I was still that. Even though like I was the youngest, I still was more laid back out of my siblings. So when we did see Deja ride the bus and Randall sitting behind her, I forgot to mention that she took a picture of Malik on the way, because apparently Malik's dad's shop is on the bus route. Okay, we see now why you was pushing so hard to take the nasty bus, because you're trying to see a boy. I understand now. I was trying to see a girl, so I get it. Okay, so y'all, then we see Toby has been secretly working out, getting it in. Okay, I was like, yeah! Soapy, when Toby took that shirt off in the preview, yes, Toby, I live. Anyway, and then we see Kevin show up to Nikki's with the plants. And I told y'all once upon a time, and Kevin about to get it in, girl. That's about to be her name. I know. Okay, her name is really about to be Once Upon a Time in these reviews, just so y'all know, okay? But anyway, that was This Is Us. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share these videos, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.